Welcome to the Deep Dive. Here, we dive into a whole stack of sources to pull out the key insights, basically giving you a shortcut to being really well informed. Ever wondered if, ancient wisdom might actually hold some keys to solving our modern problems? Big, perplexing ones. Well, today our mission is to take a proper deep dive into one of the world's most revered texts, the Bhagavad Gita.
That's right. And for this deep dive, we're going a bit beyond the usual spiritual takes. We're going to uncover some surprising facts, some really practical applications that could genuinely impact your daily life. Things like managing stress, making decisions better, even building self-confidence and stronger relationships.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable, isn't it, how a conversation from an ancient battlefield can still be such a potent personal guide for you today. So let's get into it. Let's unpack this. When you first hear Bhagavad Gita, what springs to mind for you? I think a lot of people assume it's strictly religious, maybe just for Hindus, or perhaps something only older folks get into. But, our sources really challenge those ideas.
Absolutely. What's really striking is that the Gita itself, it doesn't present itself as being for just one group. Our research really highlights its universal relevance. It's presented as guidance for all humanity, really, all ages, every stage of life. It touches on philosophy, psychology, motivation, leadership, even communication skills.
Yeah.
Its appeal is incredibly broad.
And the origin story, wow, it really sets the scene, doesn't it? The Gita is basically this intense dialogue between Lord Krishna, who's acting as Arjuna's charioteer, and Prince Arjuna himself, a warrior. And this is happening right on the edge of a massive battle, Kurukshetra. It's all part of the bigger epic, the Mahabharata.
Exactly. And Arjuna is facing this huge moral crossroads. He's confused, filled with doubt. He really doesn't want to fight his own family, his teachers, his kin. They're on the other side. And it's this deep internal conflict that leads to Krishna's really pivotal teachings. Now, our sources mention different dates for the war. Hindu tradition often says around the 3 and 102 BCE. Other scholars suggest maybe closer to 900 BCE. But honestly, the key takeaway is that the Gita's philosophical weight, its wisdom, it kind of transcends needing an exact date.
Right, the message is the core thing. So what is that core, really? At its heart, the Gita seems to offer this profound spiritual guidance, insights into existence itself, the nature of the self, ultimate reality, pretty big topics.
Yeah, and its teachings on Dharma, which is like duty or right conduct plus devotion, liberation, they act as a kind of timeless compass for anyone seeking answers. It tackles those fundamental questions, life, death, karma, action, and consequence, and moksha, which is ultimate liberation.
Okay, so let's bridge that gap. How does this ancient wisdom actually connect to our modern problems? Let's start with how the Gita might redefine success and purpose for you. Our sources bring up this interesting, kind of revealing anecdote. Imagine a job interview, right? And they ask you, if you came back as an animal, what would you be? Apparently most people say a dog or a cat, thinking, of a comfy, easy life.
And this little story, it perfectly tees up a really radical insight from the Gita. It's this principle, sada tattva bhavita. Basically, it means whatever state of mind, whatever emotion you're constantly immersed in throughout life, your deepest attachments, that very state shapes your future, your next experience, even your next body.
Wow.
So if you're always focused on just wanting comfort, ease, the Gita suggests that's what your consciousness is cultivating. It's a powerful idea. Your inner world isn't just passive.
That really makes you think, doesn't it? And it connects directly to how we approach work, too. The Gita really emphasizes doing your duty, your work, diligently, selflessly, but crucially, without getting hung up on the results.
Right. Krishna's teaching is that real happiness, contentment, it comes from focusing on the process, on giving your absolute best effort, not from trying to predict or demand a specific outcome, because that often leads to frustration. The joy is in the doing, done well.
And that leads to another interesting point about maybe misinterpretations, like with yoga.
Oh, definitely. Modern yoga, for many, it's about physical health, looking good, flexibility, maybe stress relief, all fine things, of course. But ancient yoga, the kind the Gita talks about, had a much deeper goal, spiritual advancement, realizing the self, understanding the ultimate truth, Brahmaprapti.
Yeah, I remember reading this anecdote about a modern yoga teacher defining brahmacharya, a key yoga principle, as basically don't do non-consensual sex. And while obviously that's crucial ethics, it's a very simplified take, isn't it?
Extremely. Scripturally, brahmacharya is much broader. It's about overall sense control, discipline, conserving vital energy for spiritual focus, not just one specific action. It really shows the difference between the original intent and some, let's say, modern adaptations.
Okay, so the Gita offers this lens for our approach to work and purpose. How does it help us handle the emotional roller coaster of life? the ups and downs. Let's dig into navigating that emotional landscape. Our sources use this example like a huge forest fire in a place they call Paleosoids. Homes lost, communication down, total devastation.
Right. And what's insightful is the Gita's wisdom on how to respond. It suggests it's heartless and headless, that's the phrase used, to immediately jump to blaming suffering on unseen things like past karma when there are clear, visible causes right in front of you, like a fire.
Ah, okay.
The first focus, the immediate focus, according to this wisdom, should be solutions. Helping people. Compassion first. Offer practical aid. The deeper philosophical reasons, maybe karma, can be reflected on later. It prioritizes empathy and action.
That feels like a really important lesson, especially today. And what about stress? That's huge for so many of us.
Krishna has a very direct remedy for stress in the Gita, he says. Overcome lust, anger, and greed. These are described quite starkly as gateways to hell, demonic qualities that lead to self-destruction. So managing these is key to managing stress.
And beyond just avoiding those negatives.
Cultivating equanimity, calmness. The Gita advises this by understanding, truly internalizing, that nothing is permanent except change. Happiness, distress, they come and go like seasons. The advice is to endure them without letting them shake your inner core.
And meditation helps with that.
Massively. Our sources really emphasize meditation as a vital tool for developing that stable, composed mind.
All right, and then this is a really big one, death. How does the Gita help you cope with that?
It offers a perspective that's, well, surprisingly logical and, for many, comforting. It states very clearly, death is certain for anyone born, and rebirth is certain for anyone who dies. It presents it as a natural cycle.
Okay, so it's inevitable, but what's the deeper meaning?
The teaching is that your physical body is temporary. It's just a vessel. But your true self, the Atma or the soul, is eternal. It's indestructible. It simply changes bodies. The analogy used is like taking off old clothes and putting on new ones.
Ah, the clothes analogy, yeah.
So the wisdom is, don't grieve excessively over this inevitable transition, because the real you, the soul, is untouched by it.
That leads nicely into building inner strength, doesn't it? The Gita seems to lay out a path for that.
It does. Yoga, in that original deeper sense we talked about, is precisely that path. A journey towards self-realization. It strengthens you, prepares you for deeper meditation, for more profound self-awareness.
And it involves dealing with doubt. I think Arjuna had plenty of that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Krishna tells him directly, cut the foolish doubt from your heart with the sword of self-knowledge. The idea is that your true essence, the self, the Atman, is the only constant. Real solutions, real strength, they come from within, not from chasing external things which often just create more confusion.
So true self-confidence isn't about external validation then?
Not according to the Gita. It comes from recognizing and relying on your own inner strengths, your innate capacities. When you really start to live from that level, from the soul level awareness, doubt, insecurity, they kind of dissolve. You naturally embody fearlessness, self-assurance, because the core message is you are a soul, not just a body, and the soul is indestructible. That's a pretty solid foundation for confidence.
It really is. Okay, let's shift focus a bit. The Gita also has some surprising things to say about, well, friendship, right?
Yeah.
And even therapy.
Yes, definitely. The Mahabharata, the epic that holds the Gita, is just brimming with these rich examples of friendship. Take Krishna and Draupadi.
Right, tell us about that one.
Theirs is described as this incredibly deep Sakasaki bond, a profound male-female friendship based on absolute mutual respect and unconditional support. There's even a story linking them to the origin of Rakshabandhan, the festival, where sisters tie threads on brothers' wrists.
Oh, interesting.
Draupadi supposedly tied a piece of her sari on Krishna's bleeding finger once, a spontaneous act of care, and he in turn promised to always protect her. It shows that selfless, protective quality of true friendship.
That's beautiful. And then there's Krishna and Sudama. That's a famous one.
A classic example of friendship completely transcending social status or wealth. Sudama was very poor, Krishna king, yet Sudama brings this humble offering of puffed rice, and Krishna receives it with immense love. It really highlights the Gita's point that true friendship has no kind of selfishness.
And what about Karna and Duryodhana? That's a more complex one.
Very complex, but also a powerful example of loyalty. Perhaps misguided loyalty in some ways, but loyalty nonetheless. Duryodhana elevated Karna, made him a king when others scorned his low birth. And Karna remained fiercely loyal, ultimately dying for Duryodhana. It shows the sheer power, the intensity that friendship bonds can have.
And then, of course, Krishna and Arjuna themselves, their relationship is the Gita, in a way.
Exactly. It's this amazing mix, isn't it? Teacher, disciple, yes, but also friend, philosopher, guide. Their whole conversation shows how mentorship and deep supportive friendship can actually blend together perfectly.
Okay, so from friendship to therapy. Tell us about this Bhagavad therapy. That sounds fascinating.
It is. It's a newer approach presented in our sources as a structured therapeutic process. It's derived directly from the Gita's early chapters, actually from that very dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, especially how Krishna handles Arjuna's distress. And the aim is to boost therapeutic effectiveness, help people achieve inner transformation maybe a bit more quickly.
So how does it work? What makes it different?
What's really innovative is how it weaves the Gita's timeless wisdom together with contemporary psychological practices. Things like mindfulness techniques you'd find in cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, or dialectical behavior therapy, DBT.
Ah, so it's bridging ancient and modern.
Precisely. Its foundation is on holistic principles. Things like accepting and validating emotions, drawing from how Krishna listens compassionately to Arjuna's despair. It involves providing compassionate guidance, helping clients build self-awareness, and giving them practical tools grounded in those core Gita concepts like dharma, karma, yoga.
Right.
It's designed to be culturally sensitive, but universally applicable. It uses modules focusing on emotional well-being, gaining knowledge, like Sankhya Yoga, selfless action, Karma Yoga, meditation, Dhyana Yoga, understanding the eternal Akshara Brahma Yoga, devotion, Bhakti Yoga. It's quite comprehensive.
Wow, that's a really interesting integration. Okay, our deep dive needs to touch on the ultimate path, right? Life, death, liberation. Chapter 8 seems key here.
Absolutely. Arjuna asks Krishna some really direct, fundamental questions in Chapter 8. He asks, what is Brahma, the ultimate reality? What is Adhyatma, the self? What is karma, action? Who is Adiputta, the material manifestation? Adidaiva, the universal divine form? Adhyajna, the Lord of sacrifice within? And crucially, how can devotees know you at the time of death?
Big questions. What are Krishna's answers, in essence?
Well, Krishna explains Brahma is the imperishable, the supreme truth. Adhyatma is the eternal nature of the self, your true inner being, realized when your thoughts become stable. Karma refers to those actions related to the material body and its development. Adhyajna, he says, is himself, Krishna, dwelling within the heart of every living being as the supersoul, overseeing everything. The divine is within.
Okay, and that critical point about the time of death.
This is really profound. Krishna states very clearly, whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail. It highlights the absolutely critical importance of your state of consciousness, your focus, at that final moment.
So how do you ensure the right state of being at that moment? You can't just switch it on, presumably.
Exactly. Krishna stresses that constant practice and contemplation, the word used is chintan, throughout your entire life are essential. It's the cumulative effect of your lifelong focus and practice that determines your consciousness at the end. And he clarifies that attaining him, the divine, means an end to suffering and the whole cycle of birth and death. This liberation, moksha, is different from reaching other heavenly realms, even the highest ones, because those are still within the material cycle and eventually lead back to rebirth.
And he describes different paths after death.
Yes, two main paths. One is often called the path of light associated with daytime, the bright lunar fortnight, the sun's northern path. Those who leave via this path are said to reach the divine and not return. The other is the path of darkness night, dark fortnight, sun's southern path. This path leads to temporary enjoyment in higher realms, but eventually a return to the mortal world. A true yogi, Krishna says, understands these paths, but aims to transcend the results of action altogether, to attain the supreme, eternal Brahman.
So, wrapping that up, what's the takeaway for us now?
Well, connecting this to our lives, the sources kind of emphasize that compared to the vastness of the universe and these cosmic cycles, our human lifespan is incredibly short. Which implies a certain urgency, perhaps, to work diligently, purposefully, now, not just to dream, but to act, to make an impact, and to consciously strive towards that ultimate goal of liberation, however you understand it.
Wow. Okay. We have definitely taken a deep dive today into the Bhagavad Gita. It's really clear how this ancient text isn't just some dusty philosophical treatise. It's a living guide, offering really profound, practical wisdom for navigating, well, all the complexities of your modern life.
Absolutely. From managing your mind, your emotions, building real self-confidence, understanding what true friendship looks like, even inspiring new ways to think about therapy and giving you a kind of roadmap for life and death. The Gita really does feel like a timeless compass for your own journey.
So here's something to think about. What aspect of this ancient wisdom resonates most with you right now? What piece might you actually apply to your own life? And how might looking through that particular lens change your perspective, maybe on your everyday challenges or even on your ultimate sense of purpose?